And when the children of Israel were wandering in the desert, heading towards the promised land, what do we see there? We see a picture of God who is a provider, but also a jealous God. Ilang beses niya sinabi itong sa kanila, I am a jealous God. Don't have any other gods besides me. At nung itong ang Israel ay naging bansa na, well, they were a nation. What can we learn about God? In the battles that the Israelites fought, God was always with them, except for those occasions when they sinned and God left them as a consequence of the sin. But this is a God who fights our battles. There were those times when the Israelites had to go to the battlefield and actually fight. But there were also those times when God said, ako na rito. I will do the fighting for you. Just see, just observe. So kakaiba yung mga paraan ng Panginoon, di ba? There were those times when He said, go and fight. And there were those times when He said, this is my battle. But actually, in both occasions, those were the battles of the Lord that He fought on behalf of the children of Israel. He is a God we can depend on when we fight the spiritual forces of darkness, remembering that we are in a spiritual battle. But we can be more than conquerors through Him who loved us. Nung binigay ng Panginoon, when God gave the laws to Moses and to the Israelites, what picture do we get there? This is a God who demands obedience. A God who is very strict when it comes to His laws, but also a God who wants that obedience to be a byproduct of our love for Him. How many times did He tell the Israelites, love me, love me, love me with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, and all will go well with you. He wants that obedience as a byproduct of our love for God. Doon sa flood, sa panahon ni Noe, what picture do we get there? Kakulubo na itong ating PowerPoint. A God who demands obedience even if we don't understand. Sino mo, pinagawa ito sa Noe na isang arko. Hindi pa naman umuulan noon. Kalaki-laki itong arkong ito na pinagagawa sa kanya. Can you imagine naging laughing stock itong si Noe sa harap ng mga tao? And yet he obeyed God. Though he does not understand what God really intends to do, but he was faithful, he trusted God, he obeyed. Also, in the flood, we see a God who will punish sin. And also the sinners. Doon kaya sa relationship ni Abraham at ng ating Panginoon, what do we see there? We see a God who will ask something from us that might be costly. He may even ask us to sacrifice all for His sake. Imagine ito si Abraham was the only son. Abraham and Sarah waited for this son for so long. Ilang taon na si Abraham noon? 100. At yung kanyang asawa na si Sarah was 90 years old. They waited waited for this heir for so long, and then finally it came. And then one day, Abraham was asked to sacrifice the son just like an animal. This is a God who tests his people. Not because he delights in testing people, not because he delights in seeing us suffer, but because he wants our faith refined, strengthened, stretched. Doon naman kaya sa story ni Job, what can we learn? What images of God will come out from this story? A lot. We can learn much about God from this story of Job. This is a God who may allow his people to go through suffering and pain. But also a God who rewards faith and perseverance. Doon naman sa storya ni Daniel's friends. Remember a time when his friends would refuse to bow down to the image of the king. And they were pressured to bow down, believe in your heart, but just show your respect. Bow down. And they would not. They told the king, our God is able to save us. Our God is able to save us. But sometimes God will allow his people to go through the fiery furnace to experience suffering. He may allow his people to fall in the hands of evil men. Mga 2 weeks ago, sa bansang Nigeria, 50 believers massacred in a church gathering, butchered like animals by Muslim extremists. They came to the church, sprayed bullets on the believers. 50 members died. Prior to that, there were other killings. So hundreds are dying in Nigeria simply because they happen to be followers of Jesus Christ. This is a God who will allow his followers to fall into the hands of evil men. What about in Solomon's writings? What image of God comes out? This is a God who wants to impart divine wisdom to us, to people who will prize that wisdom more than silver and gold. This is the wisdom that helps us make the right choices in life. This is wisdom that enables us to apply knowledge in day-to-day living.